What's up, everyone? This is Neon Dream Games, and today I'm gonna give you an update on where I'm at on my progress in making my first game. So, as I said, I'm gonna give you a bit of a progress update on where I am at in my journey of making and releasing my first game. And in my previous video, I mentioned I had started a game. It was a reverse tower defense game, and as I began to make that game, I put about 35 hours into making it, so I would probably say, that's close to a game jam sort of length of time to put into a game. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't have a game. I had pieces of a game, and I felt I wasn't far enough along for the development time that I wanted to invest into this game. So for me, I had to take a look at that and go, do I want to continue making this game, or do I abandon it now and look for a game that's more in the scope that I wanted to be in? Considering this is my first game, I felt that abandoning it was the right choice for now. I do hope to someday go back to that idea, and even since abandoning it, I've watched a few more tutorials and things that probably would have been helpful to know when making it, because I kept running into so many issues with just little bugs and things, and it was getting frustrating. I did get to a point where I created a wave of enemies that could walk down the path and they could attack. And I created one tower, an archer tower that could attack them, and it had two archers on it. So that also created like more of a problem than I needed. I probably should have just designed it so it had one archer, because tracking the two and having two arrows come out of it was much more tricky than I ever thought it was going to be. And in hindsight, I probably should have just done one archer, and that would have saved me a lot of time and energy. But that's where I got with it. And then that kind of left me in a position where I didn't know what I was going to do next. So I sort of just focused on starting this YouTube channel, and I did some brainstorming, trying to come up with another game idea. And I was out on a walk one night with my wife talking about it, and we started chatting about some of my ideas. I had watched some videos saying that every developer should make a horror game at some point. And I felt like that was kind of one of those things where people say that for movies too, like the easiest movie to make is a horror movie. So I thought maybe I should make a horror game. And I started coming up with this idea. I had just watched a video about lighting in Godot and how you can utilize that to add atmosphere and depth into your game. And that sort of led me into, thinking about a horror game and stuff. How could I use the light and everything? And my wife reminded me about my love for shark movies, kind of that cheesy horror category of shark movies. In fact, I had just made a video on a different channel that I have on YouTube called Quest for Tears. If anybody wants to check that out, I had made a top 5 shark movies video, and I thought, okay, maybe I could make like a shark game or something where you're chased by a shark. And so I started to make a game design document for it, and I started to prototype it. And once again, as I got I think this time I got about 8 hours into it. I might show some of the footage of where I was starting to get with the prototype. And I realized I was going to have to make pretty much all my own assets for the game as far as art goes and everything, because I wasn't finding like the asset packs that I could purchase that fit what I wanted the game to be. So again, I analyzed the situation and realized this game is probably out of the scope that I want to be in. It was going to take a chunk of time just to create art assets, and let alone start programming the game and putting it together. So I abandoned that idea, back to the drawing board again. And I was really struggling to think of an idea that I felt I could reasonably accomplish with a development cycle of about, I'd like to be around 2 months or so, maybe 3 at the most. I would like to release a game within a trimester, essentially. So, 3 to 4 months, which means I would need to program the game and develop the game and get it ready within 2 to 3 months. So I have time to set up a Steam page and launch it and do all that and get that part of it ready, kind of the marketing side, I guess. Here I am back to the drawing board, and I was really struggling to come up with a game that I felt would be fun, that I would enjoy making, but I could also make within my ability so far. And I started to watch some game jam videos. I kind of like to watch some of those just to see what people do in these short amounts of time and get inspiration from that. And I happened to watch one game jam video where a guy made a sort of Plants vs. Zombies style lane defense game out of the asset pack that they were given to use. And I've always liked that. In fact, one of my kind of ideas, I have sort of a list of just ideas. I just write them down as I come up with them. They may never turn into anything, but I figure I'll just write down ideas as I think of them. Maybe I can look at those ideas down the road and come up with something out of those ideas. So one of my previous ideas was a sort of Plants vs. Zombies style, like lane defense style games. And after I saw this guy make one of these for a game jam game, I was like, well, if he could accomplish that much it was a 44-hour game jam, and I thought maybe that's within my scope. So I started to look for some asset packs and things that I could use, and I found some fun stuff. I don't really have anything to show you yet because I'm just in the prototyping stage. So hopefully in the next coming weeks, as I begin developing this, I'll have a little bit more information on this game. But I'm going to kind of leave that as a tease for later because I don't want to fully give away what I'm making yet until I really get into making it. So it is going to be a lane defense game, and I think it has just sort of a fun little, I guess, story or plot to it or whatever. The plot serves no gigantic purpose, but I found some asset packs that I think will suit the game well, and I don't have to worry about art very much, if at all, with what I've found. So that is kind of where I'm at. And I think I will make a video in the future about figuring out scope, especially when you're starting out. And obviously I am just beginning this journey and I don't have a ton of knowledge, but I'm just trying to share my experiences with you guys. And as I walk through these things, I'll give you the sort of tips or things that I've learned even up to just this early point in my development cycle. So that's kind of where I'm at. I've found a game, and I do believe this is the game that I'm going to make. So it's my third game essentially that I will be starting, and this is the one I do believe that I can accomplish within the timeline that I want to accomplish it in. We'll see, but that is where I'm at. It's going to be a lane defense game, hopefully with a couple different twists, to it. So it's not exactly like, say, Plants vs. Zombies or whatever. But stay tuned in the coming weeks and months as I share a little bit more on what this game is. And hopefully you'll get to start seeing some footage from it and see where I'm at in developing it. So, until next time, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. I check them out. And if you've got your own tips and tricks for me or thoughts and ideas, I'm be glad to hear them. So just let me know. Subscribe to my videos, but you'll hear that from Neon at the end of the video as well. So take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for checking out Neon Dream Games channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos we have to offer. Don't forget to leave a comment to suggest what kind of videos you'd like to see more of in the future. See you in the next video.